Alright, before I go any further while filming, I should make a video. Welcome back everybody to another video. I don't know if you remember this shed, but it was full of junk. I cleaned up that junk, brought the scrap home, put some of the scrap in the pile that's here. But this is everything that was on the floor. They had layers upon layers of floorboards over the old broken stuff. And these were the beams they laid down and then nailed the floor onto. But what I can't understand was what they did was they laid the beams inside on the ground, not on top. You know, they could have done like they did here with the floorboard, with the beam, laid it on top and then put the floor on top. But instead they put it down on the ground on the inside. So as the ground settled, so did the floor, and the floor went like that. And the floor touched the dirt and then started to rot. And then, so yeah, quite bizarre way of constructing something. They clearly did it there. They set it on top of there. All they had to do was set it on top of there, set it on top of there, you know, and their floor choices wouldn't have rotted. This is rotten though. And it's rotten up here. But I'm just kind of collecting wood at this point, firewood. What I wanted to do was dig it out and put a new floor in it. I can put my vacuum pump with my generator, and then we'll have our lines running from here into the tank eventually. Properly put the pipe in the tank. But I don't know if this shed is worth the trouble of fixing. There was about a ton of raccoon manure in here. Quite gross. But yeah, so I'm just cleaning up all the wood. I'm gonna shovel some of this stuff out, get into that corner there, see how that beam is. If that beam's rotten, I might just scrap this whole shed. If not, we're gonna... What we can do to save the shed is we can jack up this beam here, change this beam here, support that beam while we take this beam out somehow, change that beam, and then be a little less shittier. But then we gotta come here with the tractor, put a good strapping across the rafters so we can put the forks underneath that strapping, pick up the whole roof, and then change that beam. Assuming the rest of the roof doesn't fall once we do that, and then change the knee brace and all that, then we'll have most of the problem fixed. But a lot of the stuff is just dry rotten. No nail's gonna be able to hold into it. Whatever was out of the dirt survived the years, but like here's gonna be pretty much scrapped, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I'm putting my mask on so I don't inhale any of this manure stuff and raccoon crap. But yeah, these some of these beams are pretty good, but of course they were too short because they were sitting on the inside, so I cannot reuse them for, you know, for something here. So I'll have to make some beams for that. But we got at least a day or two of wood for the evaporator. This sucker's half full. And yeah, gotta get boiling one day, probably tomorrow. Never mind the roof. That's pretty mismatch. It's a pretty small roof though, so it could be fixed with like 5 sheets. So we're gonna just clean this sucker out. I loaded up some firewood while it was dry, brought in the shed, started excavating this a little bit, just with the shovel, and you can see this beam. She's a goner. She's rotten because here's a rock, and they basically just scribed the beam up to the rock, so it's really, really thin right here. Same with this here. You can see how it's been cut to fit the rock. They kind of just use that as a foundation block. And I also found this old bottle. Just nicked it with the top of the shovel. Besides that would have been mint. It is a anti dip pill. The hell is that? Thorough? What the hell is that? An O? DIPHTHEROUE. I don't know what the hell that is. I just pulled this bottle out. Whatever the fuck that is. That's some sort of fucking disease medicine. A lot of weird shit in here. Starting to snow too. Alright, what the hell is this? Just another piece of metal. Just got the tractor here so I can get all the dirt shoveled into there. I don't have to use a wheelbarrow. That kind of sucked. But yeah, still digging up a lot of metal. It's gonna look pretty good once it's done. Gonna probably, I don't know yet, but I was thinking maybe just doing half the floor so I can put the pump here and somehow get the generator in here, but that's gonna be hard to do. So I might have to put it there and run a cord here. Still lots to figure out. Okay, so this is a lot of work, but I'm almost done. Got a little left there. Found some cool stuff. An old axe head. And this pretty cool chisel. Might bring back to the shop. Lots of metal too. And yeah, another bucket full. All right, so this is the vacuum system we're gonna be putting in that shed we just cleaned out. I ended up putting some fittings. Brought this down to barbed 1 inch, and this is where it's gonna go out. So we actually have to put a sump pump at the bottom of this that actually pulls or pumps the water out into the tank, just so we don't lose the vacuum. So yeah, we got the cord all wired up, and this is what Devin been doing. Devin's fully into making hay feeders. He's selling them now, so he's tweaked around with it a little bit. He's sourced some cheaper steel, and he's selling these things for $1,000 a piece. Pretty good.